Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury. Electrifying.
You ready for this? Oui, les gars, et bienvenue à nouveau au TCP Live dérangé et invaincu et incassable qui vous attend en direct à 7:30 tous les jeudis au Thursday, soit sur YouTube et disponible sans publicité sur les abonnements YouTube et Patreon.
Are you cooking or are you just saying nonsense?
Is anyone French in the chat? Did I cook or how far away was that? That was just straight off Google Translate. Because it's French, because we're playing Paris Saint-Germain at the minute. Welcome back to TCP Live, everybody. Rohan's back! Yay!
It was only a week.
No, I missed you. I missed you a lot.
I missed you too. I actually did. I did tune in for the first 30 minutes last Thursday. I did. Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Didn't comment, but okay. No super chats or anything. But that's fine. Welcome back to TCP Live. Hello, everybody. We are here to talk lots of PSG. We're here to talk El Khanous. We're here to talk how we set up against Bournemouth, what we do. But most importantly, we're here to talk to you, lovely people in the chat. As someone who doesn't speak French at all, that was really good. See?
Very good.
So he doesn't speak French, but he thought it was good. Does anyone? Chris Graham says très bon. Does anyone know French in the chat?
Je suis un fatigué.
You're tired.
Yeah, I'm not tired though. But yeah,
Wouldn't it be je suis fatigué? I think you just said I am and tired.
Oh right.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. Actually, I
could be wrong. No apprentice this week, Rohan.
Yeah, I said it like I mean, let's not drag it too much, but yeah, no curfew.
No curfew. So what you're saying is we could be going till 10:30. Who knows, man?
I'd like to get some dinner in though, for sure.
How was your holiday? What happened?
It's really good, really good. Athens, highly recommend. Food's good, people are nice. The Parthenon is like insane. I've always wanted to see that. But I was telling you off there as well. Like, I don't know if you guys feel this, but when you go to places where like inequality is really high and you just see a lot of homeless people, it really hits you and it gives you perspective. Like there was one day where it was raining, it was like levering it down, and I don't even need to think. Right, I'll get my app up, Bolts, get a taxi, and I get to my destination within like 10 minutes, just like that. You don't even need to think about it. It's muscle memory. The fact that I can do that, and these people there simply they can never do that. It's crazy to me, and it gives you perspective of just how much we take things for granted. Like in your everyday life, things that you don't even need to think about that you can do. Yep. So many can't do that, and
it's so true.
It's mental.
It's so true. I think that's what traveling. I know there's a whole meme about like, you know, man, seeing the world and what it does to you, but it does change you, and it definitely gives you a different perspective on things, and it just helps you get out. I mean, I was saying to you, yeah, fair. I had today. I was in the park, and I literally just put my phone at home, went to the park, 2 hours, just like chilled, journaled, read and stuff. And I was thinking about something, and I genuinely wrote down on my notes for this evening. I've got gratitude, PSG, Bournemouth, El Khanous questions. That is my list, and the top thing, because I realized. I had this moment the other day. I was looking at the analytics for the Cannon, and I was like, "Oh, we only got like 4K on that video. 4,000 people watched the video. That's so cool. Thank you guys so much for being here. That genuinely, I wanted to start the podcast off by saying, if we don't say it enough, and I can speak probably for George as well on this. Thank you so much for being here. Genuinely, like this is my favorite thing to do. And you know, it's like the YouTube version of traveling. You get caught in like, oh, we got 8K on that video. It's still 4K. It's
exactly.
So good.
Like. Yeah, it's these things that just matter. Like, imagine being able to kind of sit on a podcast, talk about Arsenal in front of a significant audience, a nice community. Like,
we really appreciate you guys. Yeah. Anyway, enough woke chat.
I've got a lot to get off.
Yeah. Bulishan, when's it gonna end, Robbie? Big up the lads. Thank you, Bulishan. Maybe that's a good place to start. Should we just jump straight into PSG?
Yes. Can we talk about things outside of football first regarding PSG?
Go on.
Now, okay, I'm a little bit in my Yadar mode right now. Okay, I get that. Yurda mode, right? And I get that. It's not analysis. It's just my feeling. I went to the game, and the atmosphere pre-match was so good. Was so good. I saw the tifo, and by the way, that is a disgrace. Absolute disgrace of a tifo. They didn't. It was falling off on one end at one point as well. For what? You've had all week to prepare for it as well. The Palace game was Wednesday, and you come up with that atrocity. So that's the first thing, right? Now, I don't know where you sit on this, and I think it's polarizing where fans going to the football, a lot believe it's down on the players to be able to raise the levels and the noise. And I hear that, right, in majority of the games. I completely buy that. But it's a Champions League semi-final. The atmosphere after 5 minutes was so flat. It made me disgusted, right? Really, really annoyed me because, like, I know that an early goal can lead to deflation. I know, that entire the anticipation, the adrenaline, it kind of like fizzles out with how PSG started. But it's a semi-final, man. It's not relegation fodder we're playing. And for me, I was disappointed in that personally. I know not everyone is going to agree to that. I know a lot of people will think, again, it's on the players. It's their responsibility to get the fans off their seats, etc. But for me, I didn't feel that energy and that intensity. It's not going to get any bigger at the Emirates, really, than as Champions League semi-final, unless we host the final, really. And I was so disappointed that. And the other thing as well, if you are one of those guys who leaves their seat 5 minutes before half time to get some average burger or hot dog or whatever they
£9
for £9, where you could get good food outside of the Emirates, come prepared, give your head a wobble. Give your head a wobble because it's just so stupid. Sorry, but yeah.
Is anyone
also, right? If you genuinely think the Arsenal social media team incessantly posting videos to get us even more gassed, get us even more pumped, has had an adverse effect on that performance, then you are a moron. Genuinely, you are a moron. Talk about the game as to what happened, as opposed to things that just don't matter. Like, I saw a video. I don't know who it was, but it triggered me so much. Talking about things that don't matter. They do not matter. Sorry.
Keep going. You got any more? I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. Honestly, it's so... Yeah, okay. Go.
Joshua says he wants a Rohan rant section every week. I completely agree. We'll come to the super chats in a second. Thank you, guys.
Are those hot dogs even good? Those burgers? I've never had one.
I had like a veggie one once, and it just tasted like ash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rohan. Okay, chat. Was anyone there? Was anyone in the chat there at the game? Because I'd love to. Because obviously I wasn't there.
Honestly, pre-match it was insane, mate. It was genuinely insane, and like the first couple of minutes. But after that, let us know what you think in the chat. But I mean, I only really know a few people there, and one of them was you. So maybe if we're gonna blame people, maybe we should blame you, Rohan. There's another thing that's on my mind, right? There's another thing.
Go on, another rant.
Right. There's another rant, right? Now, I understand not everyone can stand at the football. I completely get it. Disabilities, etc. You have to make exemptions there, and I completely buy that. But I really hate the idea of sitting down at the football. You can't generate the same noise and the same atmosphere. I'm adamant of that. I know this is not exclusive to Arsenal. This is everywhere, right? But I just feel like Champions League semi-final. Stand up. Like 1 minute in, the guy behind's like, oh, you can hear like, when you're standing up, you can't see. Like, stand up then. God, I did sit down after, obviously, but yeah, I hate upper tier. I hate it so much. Sorry.
I'm kind of caught in two minds with this. And George, for what it's worth, agrees with you on the rewatch. I think I'm somewhere. This will shock no one. I'm somewhere more in the middle. I hear that the crowd should have done better. I don't disagree with that, and I think like there is a element of this that is down to the crowd, but I do believe in it has to come from the players first. And so like I hear that in the sort of the cascade effect. Like, I wish that the players had, that the crowd had been better, but I just don't place it anywhere near like, and maybe you don't either, but like,
no, as in, I don't think that is the reason why Arsenal lost that game. It's not.
No.
Reason,
I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but I just don't like. It's so far for me. It's a very low, like, in the same way that like I wish we could move the away end up, but we can't. It's not the end of the world. I just don't. I can't get that frustrated about it just personally in maybe a way others can, because for me it has to come from the top and go down. I think it's just what I feel, and I think. But here's the thing. Two things. Firstly, I think the way the game played out, the sequencing with the minute silence, which are not, we had to do a minute silence, the minute silence and then an early goal didn't help. If that game play, it would be analysed different as well. I said this on the rewatch. It would be the analysis of this game would be totally different. If that was an end-to-end game, same big chances, Martinelli, Trossard, whatever, we'll get into the game itself. If they scored right at the end, we'd be disappointed, but the analysis of the game would be completely different. And I think the tone and it was the early goal that killed it. So I get that. But also, I think there's a wider thing here, and I want to put this to you. No Arsenal fan, if we go on to win the Champions League, thinks we are perfect as a team, right? I don't think no one's going to go, do you remember how we might say what an incredible Champions League run and what a great team, whatever, but we're not going to say we're a perfect team, okay? And I think there is an aspect of this fan thing where we don't get quite on board, where we don't fully trust this team yet. I really don't think we do. Yeah. And I think that's why it swings so much, because when it's going well, it's almost like a sense of like, we're not being found out here. We're not being found out here for our flaws that we know we have. Oh my God, we're actually going to get through. We've beaten Real Madrid. Even when we have flaws, we've beaten Real Madrid. That's amazing. That's why it feels so good when we win. But when we're losing, it's confirmation of the things that we know aren't perfect about our team, because we don't quite trust it. And I think that's a massive part of it. I really do.
Mate, the synergy here, what you've just done there, I was literally going to come on this, right? And I'll give you an example. Now, I think that feeling will never escape until Arsenal win something big, personally, right? Now, I don't know if you see it right.
And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, because it's exactly on that point. I think that goes to that video that guy's saying. I think he's isolating something, but giving the wrong conclusion. He's isolating, this feels so big for us. And it is, because it's our first Champions League. He uses Liverpool as a comparison, right? And I'm like, bro, Liverpool have won the Champions League. That's why it wouldn't feel as big. Exactly. That's the point. Sorry, Karen.
No. You're really good there, because go back and watch Manchester City's first season, the Pep Guardiola, right, where they had a lot of adversity. They lost like Leicester 4-0. They had really big defeats, Everton 4-0, and they were trying to play the way that Pep wants to from the off, and they were making a lot of mistakes. And you could see the fans weren't with that idea. But now, because they've won the big trophies, they're able to understand that, and they don't have that anxiety. There's always going to be a small section, right, who can't visualize the game through that lens. And this happened time and time again in the PSG game. So after we went 1-0 down and we had a couple of really poor moments in build-up, which I want to talk about later, actually, the fans are very much of the idea, hoof it, get it out. We're under pressure here, because they don't trust us during adversity when we've already made a couple of mistakes early on as well. Whereas I'm there saying, it's fine. Just let them play. Like, leave them alone, right? But that tension, that anxiety, that apprehension just rises when we're a goal down, as you alluded to. And you can feel that in the ground. There's always a section where, like, why are we trying to do this? Where it's not worked 2 minutes ago or 4 minutes ago. On top of the fact that we're 1-0 down. If we were winning, I think it's a completely different feeling, because we've got a lead and it's a different level of energy in the crowd. But during adversity, every single time we go a goal down, and every single time we have a couple of poor moments in build-up, which is just down to poor execution usually, fans can't get on board with that, and they don't want us to play that way. But I think that fear will only go once Arsenal wins something big.
I agree. And I think it's also down to our style. Mm-hmm. If we were a team who played loads of games where it was like 5-3 and 6-4 and whatever, if we were that sort of team, because we see it's more flashy to be really to score loads of goals, people would believe that we could come. I think basically it sounds like we trust the team more. People on this sort of platform and these sorts of environments, we know how good the team is because I guess our eyes are kind of looking for it a little bit more. Like, we're more interested in the tactical side of things. We're more interested in the deeper stuff. And on the deeper stuff, Arsenal are brilliant. We know, like, it's like the that we're not very flashy as a team in terms of, pulling out Lamine Yamal performances or scoring 6 goals in the game, but we are really effective. We're really brilliant at loads and loads of things in the football pitch, but you have to kind of want to look for that. So the average fan just sees, well, we only won 1-0. And maybe that lack of conviction about the team comes from our style a little bit as well, because and it doesn't quite translate to the crowd in the same way that Arteta wants us to be the Anfield or the St James's Park effect. You kind of have to play a certain style of football a little bit to get that, I think. So and I don't want this to come across as or we're better because we see the team a different way. No, I get it. The average fan just goes to the game, whatever, and that's that's a completely valid way of viewing football. But I'm just trying to diagnose what happened on Tuesday night, and I think that's part of it as well.
No, 100%.
Ivan says El Khanous. Ivan will definitely come to El Khanous a little bit later on in the podcast. Budashan says Rohan Dean won.
I know. I did say as well. My prediction came through. His business, he's just already started generating money. So I think he had a head start there.
And that's good in business, is it? If you make money.
Yeah. Although I did think her idea was really good. I thought it was.
What was her idea?
Oh, it was kind of like pizzas, but with an Indian twist. Which honestly, I think the idea
sounds good.
Yeah. You don't see it You don't see it much, really. From when I go out and stuff and go for food places and pizza places, I don't really see that sort of type of dish being.
What happened to that girl who was like, I've got a deal for you. 20p or something for the
oh, that meme. Oh, that was ages ago. Oh, I think she went up very early.
Oh, okay. She was so annoying. I watched one episode. She was so annoying. I did ruin it for someone last week, by the way, and for that I'm so sorry. I didn't say spoiler alert, and I said someone had won. Anthony B says La Rojantada next Wednesday. We will be there 100%, Anthony. We are going to get to whether we can Rojantada. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your super chat. Ivan says the club should be making sure you can only go to games this magnitude if you've been to game 5 times before. Yeah, to be honest, I don't have strong opinions on the ticketing and those sorts of things because I don't really go to the games enough. So someone like Tim Stillman is probably the right person to talk to about that. I don't know whether it's me. Like, for example, I put out on Twitter and I said I don't know, to be clear. Let me just try and find the exact thing I said, but I didn't know this. I've always felt that we could possibly move the away end, or I've been confused about why we couldn't move the away end because it's so close to the pitch and it feels like every other away end goes further away. So I said, someone's something for being stupid or there's a logistical reason we can't do it, but why don't we move the away end at the Emirates? And Tim Stillman said, it's against Premier League rules. You have to have at least some of the fans in the lower. There's a price cap of £30 on away tickets, so the club wouldn't want to give up more expensive seats at a knockdown anyway. And then he said, in my opinion, killing away atmosphere takes away from the atmosphere even more. Away fans provoke a response. I don't agree with that bit, but I think the price cap thing, whatever. Like, there's so much in this that I don't understand because I don't have a season ticket. I haven't been going, in that way. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting topic, and when it's kind of like you just don't know the answer to it. I fall in that same category. I disagree with the idea that tourists are ruining Arsenal's atmosphere. I really heavily go against that.
No, I think it's you.
I have to say that, not gonna lie, my record recently has been atrocious. I've not seen Arsenal win the last 4.
Really?
Yeah, my record is really bad recently. Overall my record is good.
I think I've only seen us lose once. Maybe I'm the lucky charm.
Really?
Yeah.
I've lost count of about
it was the City game in 22-23. That's the only one I've seen us lose.
And that's not a bad game to have gone to anyway.
No.
And yeah, I went to that as well. The 3-1.
Yeah. The one with Haaland. Yeah.
Only one loss?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Mate,
I don't think I've even seen a draw. Have I seen a draw?
I need to stay away from the Emirates. I'm not going again this season anyway.
Mate, I think I'm our lucky charm. I was at the Madrid game. I was at that Chelsea game, the 1-0. I was at if I'm going back further, I was at the Spurs 3-1, where Partey from the edge of the box, that one, the Granit Xhaka goal. I was at the Monaco game we won this season. Which games have I been to this season? Hang on.
That's a good game to go to. I've not been to as many this season. I've been to Brighton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you go.
Wait, no, yeah. Madrid
Yeah.
win. Chelsea win. Then I think we're going back to the Monaco game. Yeah. How many people have been to see? Anyway, yeah. But basically, every game I go to, we win. So
Yeah, you might be
saying I'm the
actually.
reason we win, but
Yeah. Meanwhile, I went to West Ham, we lost 1-0. I went to Brighton, we drew 1-1. I went to the Villa game, we drew 2-2. I went to PSG, we lost 1-0.
So that's on you, mate.
Yeah, I've had a stinker this season, honestly.
You have had a stinker.
The only wins I've seen were against Leicester and Southampton. 2 relegation. Awful teams, but yeah.
Clivey Baby says we are one of the best teams in the world. Facts. Well, Rohan, let's come on to we absolutely are. But I think maybe my point from earlier, we're one of the best teams in the world in basically like if you like. And I do watch PSG and Barcelona, and I don't want this to get misconstrued and say I want to completely change our game model. But in our next evolution, I just want to take a little bit of that freedom, a little bit of that interchange, a little bit of that personality in the way they play. I think that would go off so well at the Emirates. If we could integrate that into what we do well and not lose anything, but just give us a little bit more freedom, we would be so hard to beat, but a little bit more entertaining.
Do you not think, though, that can be galvanized for bringing in greater quality? Because when you're looking at some of the players that we're talking about, right? Yeah. Go and look at yesterday, the game. We all watched that game. And as much as there was a lot of good play, look at some of the goals that were scored. Yeah. That's just quality. Like, Lamine Yamal doing what he did there is quality. Rafinha smacking one from like 50 yards out. You know,
people saying we need a lifetime season ticket for me and a ban for you.
Do you know what? We'll be there next season. Trust me. We'll be back.
I prefer not to speak.
Can't make the next 2 games. So at the Emirates, you'll be.
Oh, mate, we're sorted, and we've lost the league anyway, so it doesn't matter. I will say on. The problem is I would love to go to more games, but obviously I'm doing content around it. But yeah, maybe I just need to go to more games.
You do, mate.
Lamine Yamal has 100 appearances for Barcelona. He's 17.
I know. Crazy, isn't
it? And I know I love our players and I love what we do, and I genuinely wouldn't change it because I love that was 3-3 that game. That there was a lot of back and forth, and I can't take that. I'm nervous enough as it is. I want more predictability for my team, but just taking a little bit of that. And I think you're right. It does come back to the driving factor is quality.
Yeah,
guys at the top level. Who am I? Guys at the top level. The driving factor. It's quality. It's quality.
Lamine Yamal is just so good. I tell you what, I've not had a feeling like this of a player since Neymar. Like. The feeling I get from Yamal and what he does, he's just a street footballer, mate. Like, as much as we like tactics and stuff, when you see that, that's what is exciting about football. That performance is what's exciting.
Yeah,
like
I love it.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, and that's what galvanizes a crowd and stuff. This is what I'm trying to say. Let's come on to the game.
I do hear that other side of the argument. That's why it's kind of like it's not analysis. It's not like me being right in the spin. It's the feeling I get, and it's like I just. A bit more.
Sorry, Bullshit has nailed you here. 22-23 season. Yeah, you 22-23 season.
He's cooked there.
Operating at 100-point pace, you say all the time.
Can't say that this season, obviously.
Operating 100-point pace. Quick thumbnail check before we get to the game. Let me just bring it up. Here it is. I can't find you.
I saw the last one as well, and that was ridiculous. I was on the doorknob.
There I am. What are we saying, chat? Give it a rating out of 10. I think that's me.
That is
the hair tells me it's me.
Yeah.
Me and my hat. Although, right, lads, I went out in the sun today. I don't know if people can see this.
Oh my god.
It happens I even said it today to my friend Alex. I was like, bro, there's one day in April or May every single year where I get caught by the sun. So I was like, can we go sit in the shade? He was like, yeah. Still got caught by the sun.
Damn.
Joke.
Damn.
Joke.
Absolute joke.
On the tower, there's Erdegaard and Partey, but I can't see you. Is that is that you?
There it is. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That's very good. I like it. I think Ford has had better thumbnails personally.
Yeah. I'm giving it an 8.
I'll give it an 8 as well.
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8.
And even if it was amazing, like elite, it would never be a 10.
Oh Jesus! The Arsenal Cabernet Sauvignon. It's got the French vibes. It's got the baguette. It's got the mime.
How much is that? Like 80 quid for the serve at the ground.
The what?
The ground. I'm just having another dig at the Emirates and the prices.
Yeah, you're fuming, aren't you? Absolutely fuming. 8 out of 10 Ford, I reckon.
The nachos as well. They just got some like out of date Doritos and just.
Terrence says, "I am French, and this is pure racism." Terrence, if you are French, can you tell me how good my French was at the beginning of the pod, please? Thank you. Oh no, Leo Barbe says, "Oh my god, I'm French, and this is so bad."
But you tried though, and you were like,
"Wait, no, but hang on. Are you saying the thumbnail's bad, or my Leo? Can you tell me how good my French was?" Terrence says 2. Oh,
2.
Right. You're going to cook for us, aren't you? Come on.
Yeah.
Rohan's prepped.
Now, I think everyone... Actually, you've got the quote up, isn't it? Everyone was intrigued about what Mikel was alluding to.
I'm watching you now.
Are you watching me, right? This is going to take a bit of time because I've got a lot of pictures. I came back from the gym, so I was like rushing through it all. And I want to explain it because I think... And sorry, I might go on a really long spell of talking here. Okay. So,
lock in, boys.
Now, all right, it's not deep. I'm being pedantic, but I don't like this idea in which you see something in game, you think it's a tweak, and then you will say that with confidence and say, "Oh, this is what Arteta changed out of position, and this is why we're able to gain a bit more control." Nonsense, absolute nonsense. Rewatch the game. You rewatched the game as well, George, and you can also confirm the press.
Could you promo it?
Yeah. So if you want to see Jordan Alex go against the myth of the Tacticos online.
Stop going after my French.
Right on.
It was good. Sorry, carry on.
Was it actually like?
No, it was Google Translate. I have no idea what it said.
Oh, okay, fair. See,
carry
you said that with so much confidence, and I thought
Sorry.
you did. So the problem wasn't out of possession, right? The issue that we had in the first 20 minutes wasn't structurally. It was simply players mistiming their jumps, as you saw with Martinelli for the build up to the goal, and then there was a really bad ripple effect that occurred, which meant that Kivior and Saliba can't jump out on Dembele, etc., and they score the goal, right? The problem was on the ball. What Mikel alluded to post-match was the fact that if we weren't able to do this thing in build-up, this tweak that we made that consistently happened after the 20th minute, we would not have been able to exert the control that we did have from minute 25 to the 70th minute. And what it was Mikel Merino's positioning. And let me show you. Let me share my screen. Right.
Next slide, please.
Oh, I love this. Right, so can you see this, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. So, oh, go on. What are you going to do?
Your voice crack city today, aren't you?
Oh, voice crack city.
How do I make you? No. Hang on. What have I done? There we go. Sorry, Karen.
Oh, okay. Nice. So I'm going to show you what we did initially.
Would you zoom in a touch? Sorry.
Of course.
Thank you, my darling.
How about now?
That is great. Yep.
Yeah. So this is how Arsenal are building up, I'd say, in the first 15 or so minutes. We didn't have many moments since we were able to get into this shape because PSG had a lot of control, a lot of the ball, and they were doing a lot of good things. But what we were trying to do in build-up was this. So we had our nominal kind of 3-2 shape here with David Raya, central centre-back, Mars Lewis-Skelly and Declan Rice as our pivot. And look at Mikel Merino right here. Very high, and you can see PSG are very much keeping their back line alongside Vitinha intact. So that is what we started to do. Now, let me show you the pictures. So, if I share my screen. Oh, God, I need to be quicker with this.
Anyone seen any good movies recently?
Right, so this is the first screenshot of it. Is that okay?
Yeah. You could slightly zoom in if that's okay, but...
Yeah, I've got quite a few, though, So you can see here exactly what I illustrated. PSG going man-to-man, and David Raya plays the ball to Saliba. And what we find ourselves in this situation struggling with is because PSG have gone man-to-man, we don't really have an escape route. Saliba makes a really poor decision here, and he loses the ball, and the ball comes into this area. Odegaard doesn't win the 50-50, and then PSG regain control and possession. And what they do after this, and this is what Mikel Arteta was alluding to, where because we kept losing the ball in these sorts of situations with this structure, PSG were in an optimum position after they regained it to recycle back, to drop their midfielders back, and that made it very difficult for us to press them. Now, if you remember when the Community Shield with
sorry, I'm lost. Explain the bit where why can they drop their midfielders back easier? Explain that again.
Because let me get.
Can you put it back on?
Yeah, I can put it back on. I can put it back on.
Thanks, Dad.
That's okay. You can see here, right? Once that ball is in that area, look at the number of bodies PSG have here, right? Relative to Martin Odegaard. And now what can happen is, I think it's Fabian Ruiz. He wins the ball back. He plays it back to Nuno Mendes. Nuno Mendes goes back, and the PSG midfielders are already further. They can come back and retreat more than the Arsenal players can hit, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So because they've got this overload here.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah.
They've got this overload here. So once they win it, they can regain it, and they can go back. They can then start dropping their midfielders back, and they regain control. And it becomes very difficult to press them in that scenario. Where if you imagine Rodri in the Community Shield, where he was dropping into the back line, right? That was bait for Man City to lure us on for Declan Rice to jump up, but we didn't want to do that because that's exactly what they want to do. And they're able to open up the gaps between the lines if Declan Rice jumped. Now, it's the same scenario here where PSG midfielders, when they're dropping outside the block, they're overloading our front line of the press, and it becomes very difficult for us to lock on, right? So now let me share you the tactics board again. And this is what happened. Sorry, this will be very long, but I just don't think this analysis has been covered mainstream so far, and I'm quite surprised. So what was happening is Mikel Merino was dropping. And this is where Mikel was alluding to something that's just very small and subtle, but it made a massive difference. And what was happening with Mikel Merino dropping, Trossard will then cheat left, and now you have a situation in which we can escape, where Marquinhos can't jump because Trossard is pinned here. If Padre jumps high, we've got a favourable opportunity to go long. And also, you can see now, because the centre-back has jumped forward, if they do that, if David Raya goes long, we are in more of an optimum position to press because their players are more disorganised and we can get into our pressing shape a lot more. Whereas with Mikel Merino staying high, one, we don't have the out ball. And also, I think with Declan Rice as a number 6, I love Declan Rice. I think as a number 6, he suits so many different game states. But against a high press, a man-to-man press, Declan Rice is not going to be able to receive and then turn and then carry. He's going to play the wall pass. And this is why I do think we missed Thomas Partey a bit. And that's why we need Mikel Merino to drop in. But also what you were seeing is Mars Lewis Skelly, he was starting to occupy different heights as well, where he was dragging Neves with him. And that was opening up more space for us to escape with Mikel Merino and also to free up Declan Rice because it was creating more of a dilemma for PSG players. So Mars was starting to drift over. Mikel Merino was drifting over. But the key here with Mikel Merino dropping into this space and Trossard cheating here, it made it more difficult for PSG to jump. But when they did jump, it made it more favourable for us to go long and for us to be able to set our pressing shape higher up the pitch, whereas we weren't able to do that with Mikel Merino staying here because the PSG back line are very much intact, right? And that was happening. And I'll show you the pictures now where... so have I lost you or...
No, this is making sense. And I love that you're doing the P structure, point, evidence, explanation.
Yeah, so let me...
Very, very good.
Right.
Mrs. What was her name? Mrs. Havisham would have been proud. What was that? Miss Holloway?
Miss Holloway.
She hated me regardless.
So, can you see that?
Yep.
Right. So, this isn't the first time it happened, but I was going through this really quickly. So, we saw before, it wasn't Mikel Merino dropping here, but now you see Mikel Merino drop, and now it's creating that dilemma again for PSG, where does the centre-back follow him, or does he stay with Trossard pinning? And now David Raya, he has that easy out ball to Mikel Merino. Now, Declan Rice has got a little bit more space to manoeuvre because Fabian Ruiz has recognised Mikel Merino dropping in. And football happens so quickly where players are starting to move in areas where they weren't moving before. Declan Rice can receive. And now, as you can see, he's got the space to carry.
Who's that jumping up in the middle?
Here.
Near Merino.
This one? Yeah. That's the... Can you see?
Is that Pacho?
Yeah, that's Pacho. Pacho has now jumped high, right? He's now jumped high, and now Declan Rice can carry. And now if you look at this following sequence, we've got Timber high already. I think Declan Rice plays the ball to Timber, and Timber then releases Saka inside. We're in more of a favourable position here. Okay,
Yeah.
that's one example. And this is where it's not just a tweak that happens situationally. It happened time and time again. So part 3. See how I've done it here, right?
This is Rohan's burner account. You can request to follow him if you want.
My safe space.
He posts nudes.
Now, again, you can see here, this is where Miles is starting to occupy different heights. And the reason why he's occupying a deeper height here is to drag João Neves. You remember Mikel saying how it was a lot easier for PSG midfielders to drop back. If you're pulling Neves higher, it makes it a lot more difficult for Neves to get back into the position deeper if PSG do win the ball. And David Raya here, in this scenario, what you can see here, you can see Hakimi. Hakimi's jumped now to Mikel Merino. This wasn't happening before. And now in this scenario, David Raya goes long. But look at this situation when we go long. It's a lot more favourable for us where even if we don't win the ball, we can get into our pressing shape, and PSG midfielders are not in the position where they can regain and they can overload us across their back line, right?
I think you've absolutely cooked.
Now,
I think you've absolutely cooked there.
I'll go really quickly, right?
He's going to cook even more.
Right. Again, Miles occupying different heights. Can you see Mikel Merino here in a really good position?
It's a carry, isn't it?
Can you see Trossard here? Can you see Martinelli here? No, but and Desiree Doué. Now he's in a dilemma here where Miles Lewis goes, this is just quality, right? Hakimi jumps, Miles rolls him, and Doué, he doesn't remain compact because he's thinking that Miles is going to pass back to Kivior. Now Miles obviously carries forward. PSG's backline can't jump here because of Trossard pinging Pacho, Mikel Merino here, and Martinelli pinning Hakimi, I think. Not Hakimi, whoever's there. I can't remember who it is. Marquinhos, right? And that's where the chance comes for Martinelli in behind. That's another example. I've got 2 more. But the point is I wanted to show you a lot of pictures because it wasn't just something that happened situationally. It happened time and time again. Mikel Merino again dropping in, right? You can see here Hakimi's overloaded. Now the centre back can't jump in this scenario, and I'll tell you why. Because Martinelli has cheated centrally. Trossard has pulled wide. So if the centre back jumps to Mikel Merino, Martinelli can access that space in behind easily. And also because Miles' position here, he starts to drop wider, which drags Hakimi wider. Declan Rice can access that space, and now you've got that favourable position. You see this scenario, the reason why Pacho couldn't jump to Mikel Merino is because of Martinelli. If he jumped to Mikel Merino, Rice could have played that pass immediately in behind. So this is what was happening time and time again. The final example, the final bit I wanted to show, again, another similar situation where, again, Miles occupying a different position, drifting laterally towards the right-hand side to open up the left-hand side. Again, Desiree Doué in this dilemma where do I go towards Kivior? Do I stay? He doesn't really do... He does neither, really. And now Mikel Merino, again, can receive here. Look who it is there. Trossard again pinning Marquinhos. Martinelli there. And you have the same situation and we escape. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I think it's and it's good to just show that it's not just like an accident. I think also in the two of those examples were 2 of our biggest chances came from that, which was the Miles carry for the Martinelli slipping behind and the Rice carry for the Trossard slipping behind. Something I wanted to highlight as well is the height of Hakimi in those situations. How high he gets is really interesting to me, and I know they ask Marquinhos to defend the wide areas, but when you have someone like that, I did feel one of our letdowns in the game was how we used our wingers, both Martinelli and Saka, and maybe didn't get the ball out to them quick enough. And I don't quite understand why or how that didn't happen. Yeah. But with a fullback in that sort of position, with an ability to carry through a team, which I think we have because I think we physically can outdo them in those areas. I think I feel we left about 3 or 4 or maybe even more opportunities on the pitch from a carry play in Saka or Martinelli in behind. We only had 2, but those were on all night, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And also the other thing is right, and we talk a lot about Declan Rice. You know, we really like him as a number 6 in a lot of games that suit him. Now, I will say this. In that sort of game, I thought for me, the 2 best players for Arsenal were Miles Lewis-Skelly and Declan Rice, for me. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but that's how I saw it. But with Declan Rice, against a high press, a man-to-man press, he's not someone who's going to be able to drop the shoulder and then carry through. He will carry through when the space opens up, and then he's unstoppable, as you saw in that moment. But in that scenario, that's where we did miss Thomas Partey a bit, because Thomas Partey is able to maneuver and then face play, whereas Rice is going to play the wall pass.
Yeah.
That's all he's really going to do there. He's not going to lose it cheaply, but he's going to play the wall pass. And that's why Miles had to started to occupy different heights. He had to start dropping in to be the first receiver. Mikel Merino dropping in was the biggest driver, though, because without him doing that, it meant that PSG, not only were we not able to kind of play through it, but also if we went long, PSG players are already in a decent position when they regain it to get back and start their build-up, to start their control, to start their patterns. But once you start dropping Mikel Merino, you create that dilemma where Hakimi sometimes jumps, Pacho might have to jump. If you go long, those players are out of position. And alongside Miles dropping deeper, Neves is now higher up the pitch, which means it makes it more difficult for him to drop back. So that's what it was.
I think a lot of that is why I'm so potentially excited to see Rice as a 6, Miles as an 8, because I think you could solve that problem it's not a problem. One of the limitations of Rice at 6 by having a Miles who can do that, who can drop a shoulder and take it in that way, or maybe another player. I think them as a kind of pairing would work in so many situations. Yash Singh says, replace Airport Albert with Rohan. Quality is the driver. What do you think?
But that might not have been the thing. But for me, I watched it back, and I thought that was it. Yeah,
that makes sense.
I thought it was.
That makes sense. And I didn't have an answer before because I said in the TDK video, I was like, he said this. I don't know what it is, but people tell me, and I think you're probably right.
And he said it was just something very, very small, just a small detail.
Yeah,
and that's what it was.
Miles at 8, not 6. Did I say the other way around?
No, you said.
No, I do think Miles is an 8 and Declan is a 6. I'd love to see. I think that you have a real blend of skills there.
I've not spoke to you about forget about the tactics. And what are your general thoughts on like the moments? Because for me, it's Scott Willis did something really nice here, where he kind of like split the game in 3 phases, and that's how I saw it as well. The first 25 minutes, I thought PSG really played well, and it was kind of like the situation where, people are kind of like asking, like, why Kivior wasn't jumping, why Saliba wasn't jumping to Dembele. They couldn't in those scenarios. They simply couldn't, because that was the trap. But after that, after we started to make that tweak, we had a really good spell to the 75th minute. And then we're looking at 2 gilt edge opportunities, right? That can really change the tide. But then we could easily have lost it, like big time at the end, easily have lost it. And that's where I'm thinking 1-0, I'm locked in. And I have to say, I did underestimate them. I genuinely did underestimate them personally, because what I saw previously in the Aston Villa game and at the game earlier in the Emirates, but more specifically the Aston Villa game, I didn't see some of the things they did against us that they did in that game. And it's quite interesting because Luis Enrique did come out and said, we're prepared. And they were prepared. And that's where, I got it wrong for sure. I did underestimate them. But I still fancy us because I think Partey will make a big difference with Rice higher in the time.
I'm going to try and find, where was it? Here it is. Yeah, so the value for each shot. Let me just bring this up on screen. I think this game, I really do strongly believe what I said earlier, that I think this game would be analysed very, very differently if firstly we all believed in the team a little bit more, and secondly, they didn't concede, that we didn't concede early. I think this would be considered very, very different. If you look through the actual quality of the chances that PSG created, zero. So these are the first, 6 chances, all less than 0.1 xg, 0.06, 0.04, 0.03, 0.005, 0.05, 0.05. The only high quality chances they had, the biggest chance they had, was that Bradley Barcola moment where he was offside.
Was he offside?
Yeah. Well, Ramos was offside. Sorry.
Oh, it was quite close.
Ramos was offside at the build-up, 100%. 100%. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think PSG stressed us 100%, but they stressed us with running early on, and then they tired, in my opinion. And I think there's a lot to be encouraged by, as I've said on various podcasts and stuff. But the game isn't, and this is why I think I wasn't on the rewatch that you guys did on PSG, but I obviously edited it and I watched it back. And I said this, I can't remember what pod, maybe with James on Sunday. I was never quite, and this isn't a haha, this is I completely agreed with all your on paper stuff, because I think we actually saw a lot of that stuff. It's the Champions League, and it relies on difference makers, and we don't have that many of those sorts of players who can create moments. Even Mikel has said that we need difference makers, and we just don't have that. So I think if we go through, I really don't think, apart from the first 20 minutes. I mean, even the first 20 minutes, it's gonna be one of those. It's gonna become a Pablo Mari against Romelu Lukaku thing, isn't it? Do you remember those 20 minutes again? Okay, it was one goal, and it was a little bit of lack of control, a little bit of panic stations here and there. We are so amped up and so nervous for the game, and also coming off the high of Madrid, that we're basically waiting for Arsenal to go out there and just completely dominate PSG. And because that didn't happen, we go, oh, that's it. And then we look through the rest of the game, and we look at the quality of our chances. A 0.59 chance from Gabriel Martinelli, more than all of those chances in the 20th minute. Next one down, more than before the 20th minute. The chance from Trossard, 0.22. The chance from Gabriel Martinelli, 0.27. All way higher than these chances over here, right? Like, these are massive, massive chances. We had a goal ruled out. I genuinely strongly believe we were the better team, but the narrative around the game, I do think is like, while I don't agree with it, I understand it because we haven't been in this position before. We're worried, we're nervous. It set the tone, and I think that is because we don't have the difference makers, and I think that might be why we go out. Unfortunately, even if we're the better team, the better team.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it depends on how those two moments at the end, if they're offside or not. If you're saying they were definitely offside, then yeah, it's. But if they were onside, I'd feel very different.
Yeah.
About the feeling. Yeah.
Sorry, DOF, bro. Like, that is exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying I think we were the better team. I'm showing you evidence for the fact that we were the better team, but I'm saying we don't have the difference makers, and at this level, that doesn't matter. So all the XG stuff, I'm making that point. Like, I think we are the better side. I think we're better coached. I think we have more physicality. We've got to remember we've got like 5 or 6 players out. I really, really do feel that. My point is that it's the Champions League, and do you know what I mean? Like, ultimately that's the level. If we don't finish our chances, we have players who miss chances like this, and I don't want to blame them, but that's what it is.
Yeah, and they're really bad misses.
Yeah,
like, they're good really saves. They're top saves. I think the Martinelli one is difficult, but it was so predictable what he was trying to do there. And once he set himself in that angle, he needs to be a bit more cute with it, in my opinion. To open up the near post potential there as well. Donovan knew what he was going to do. I actually think the Trossard one is a tad unlucky. Like, he's not hit it perfectly, but that's a top save. But these are the margins, aren't they? Like, in the high octane moments in the Champions League, like, go back and watch Real Madrid, how they've won titles in this competition time and time again. Like. Yep. They ride the storm, but when they get their moments, they tend to take them. And they did it to Man City as well, at the Etihad, before they played us as well. Not before they played us, but the round before that. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I still feel very confident because for me, like, we had a lot of interesting things we did, particularly with David Raya on indirect set pieces from deep, where, I don't know if you saw it, but every single time he's going to the far post, and we keep our big boys at the far post, and Mika Marino's winning that first contact every single time, and then we weren't getting the ricochets in the box. There was one moment where Trossard gets a shot off, but it was blocked, and I just think this PSG team still struggle against significant height, and we're pushing Declan Rice higher, Mika Marino going back up front. I think we can get a lot. I think that, and also it's like, for me, the press. Right, I thought Mika Marino played very well after the 25th minute. But in this sort of game, there's just a difference with Declan Rice in that press, in that role. It's not Mika Marino's. It's just a different game.
Or even with the crowd and that kind of intangibles. TJ the Third says Rohan loves a good in the high octane moments, doesn't he?
That is true. Yeah, that is true.
Heman says we were not the better team. Game step matters, and that's why we had more chances. They completely won the midfield battle, and Kvaran penalty was also probably a penalty. I want to come to the penalty in a second, but bro, I have to push back on better team. How else can? Okay, let's remove opinions. If I was saying 2 people over there disagree about whether one team was better than the other, okay, well, how would you settle it? Stats, maybe? Okay. They had 2% more possession and they had more passes. We had more shots, more big chances, more field tilt, more XG, more final third entries, more zone 14 touches, more XT, more XA. What I don't understand. And this is kind of the point. I think the better team thing comes from the more intangible stuff. And that's maybe where I worry about the second. Like, I think coaching objectively, I think we were the better team on the night. But I think maybe the thing people are really responding to is the feeling around the game. And I think this is kind of the Champions League and why I am worried about us going out, to be honest. And if I had to predict right now, I'm sorry to say, I think we go out. Because if we win this Champions League, it's like the 22-23 season. Sorry to keep going back to it. The 22-23 season, I describe as almost like a kid walking down the road towards an ice cream shop, unsupervised by a parent, going, no one's going to catch me. I might actually get an ice cream. And this Champions League run feels a little bit like that. We kind of know we're a little bit undercooked. We don't have the right players. Like, we know we're probably still a touch pre-peak, all those sorts of things. And even though it makes sense for us to win, like against PSG in terms of on paper what you're saying, I worry we don't have the difference makers, which has been our problem all season. And those intangibles and the feeling and the belief in the side, the belief that we have those players. We have a Salah who can do that for us. I don't know. Again, on paper, it's 1-0. I think we're the better coach side. We're going to have Partey back. There's so much encouragement, but I do think the kind of the narrative around it, I do think it does matter a little bit.
I think it's interesting because, like, on the rewatch, me and George, we said a lot about this being a very favourable match for us. But and I briefly mentioned how obviously on paper this looks really good, but there's always that possibility. Always is the possibility of football being a very funny game in which something happens. I said it to someone as well. That actually did come to me, and he's like, he loves the Cannon Pod. He loves Alex.
Oh, nice.
Alex?
Yeah.
Who? Yeah.
Alex Forder.
Alex Forder. Yeah. And I spoke to him. He told me about like what he thinks of the game and stuff, and I told him like how I'm confident, but football's funny, isn't it? It's like sometimes anything can happen, isn't it? And
let me put it this way: it's like that old adage, you have to lose a final to go and win a final. There's a reason that exists, and I don't want to be a doomer, and I'm not like if we win, that means the like logic prevailed. I really do think that, but like logic sometimes just doesn't apply. I really do think, and that's why I'm worried. But
the biggest frustration for me is because it's like I didn't expect us to beat Real Madrid. For me, I got from before ball was kicked, I got sucked into the institution, the ideology of Real Madrid and what they've done over the years. I didn't really look too much into the tactics because I know tactically they're not the most astute side that's set up. And that's what Ancelotti's done. He's kind of like tailored his teams to suit the qualities of their best players. That's why he is one of the best managers out there football has ever seen. But when you remove all of that and you just talk strictly football, it made sense Arsenal beating them, really. But I didn't think they would beat them, and that's where I'm thinking about the ideology. But now I kind of like reverse my mindset. It's weird because I fully expected us to go out against Real Madrid. I fully expected us to go out against Atletico.
It's like,
Madrid.
which ideology do you believe? Do you believe the myth of the Champions League, or do you believe the reality of football?
Exactly. And now I've gone to the reality of football, and I'm looking at PSG and thinking, man, we've got to win this, surely. And then it doesn't. But however, I just think 1-0 keeps us locked in so much. Like, we've got a really good chance here still. Like 2-0, let's say that it was an offside on those moments, as what you're saying. It's done. I think it's done. But 1-0, man, it's... Yeah,
it's all to play for. It is all to play for. Look, as I say, I'm not sat here saying we're going to go out. I predict us to lose. I don't believe that. What I'm saying is I'm worried about that game. I'm worried about that game. I have to be honest because of what I've been explaining. Even though on paper I think it makes a lot of sense, but we'll see. We'll see that. And bro,
what do you reckon?
Another aspect of this I do want to come to is this. And I think I want to do a little bit of individual player analysis, and then let's just do loads of questions and stuff. Another aspect of this is this. Let me just say this. I'm worried about going to France next week. We are technically one game away from Champions League final. Because we're down, we're not even entertaining it. It's basically, can we come back? We're not even thinking any further ahead, right? We are actually one game away from Champions League final. Like, we can objectively go to France and do it. And that is such an opportunity. It's such like a Mikel Artetaism to be like, is this a challenge? Well, it's an opportunity. But it is. It is an opportunity. And as Logical Nonsense says, if our ladies can do it, we can do.
Do you know what it is as well, right? Go through and look at every single winner in Champions League history. They have all had to go through adversity. We've not had to go through that yet. We haven't. PSV was a walk in the park. It was easy. Real Madrid, you sit back, go and rewatch it, take out the emotion and the stress as a fan. It was easy. It was so easy. This is where it started to become a little bit more difficult. Just look at all the previous winners. Like when Real Madrid have won the Champions League, they're like always 1 or 2 goals down. They managed to find a way. Like Barcelona when they beat us as well, they were 1-0 down and they went on to win. There's so many different teams that have won it and had to go through a period of adversity. Where Liverpool won it as well. 3-0 down to Barcelona.
Mate, the synergy here. I was literally about to reference that. It's like that's the game they won the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Forget the final against Tottenham. That I don't really remember that final. I watched it, but I don't really remember it. I remember that game. That's the game they won it.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's and this is an opportunity. So here we go. Thoughts on throw the kitchen sink mentality missing?
Is that in reference to what you said?
Just throw the kitchen sink at it, kind of thing. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think we need to do that at the start. It's 1-0, isn't it? It's 1-0.
Yeah.
Play our game. Just play our game normally as we do.
Just play our football. Yeah. Rohan, let's do a little bit of individual player analysis before we come to some questions from you guys at home. And we'll come back to El Khanous as well from earlier, from Ivan Smith. Come on then.
Oh my God. I've never... So you went to you've gone to a few games this season as well. I've gone to a few games this season as well. I've never seen the fans that frustrated with Martin Odegaard. I've never seen it like that before. But he was bad. He was really bad. I don't think we can hide away from this, guys. Like that performance. The numbers show it. The performance shows it. I don't know what else to say. I was actually really, really disappointed. Really disappointed because I was looking at him as someone who needs to step up for sure. And listen, we can. There's obviously sometimes going to be information that we unfortunately don't have. We're not exposed to, and we will never be exposed to until a few years down the line, where a report will come out and say, "Oh, Martin Odegaard was suffering for this, that, the other, whatever." But we have to look at it from a football perspective, don't we? And he wasn't good. He wasn't good, and he was the worst player out of anyone in our team, and that's the captain. Yeah. I know that's really harsh, but
just quickly, Q Joseph has become a YouTube member. Thank you. You can now check out what can he now check out on as a YouTube member? What can you get?
Well, Alex and George have recently done a rewatch to give yourselves a little bit more confidence, a little bit more oomph, a bit more excitement going into the Parc des Princes. You can also get ad-free content, including the main pods. You can get Scouted, where there's a Liam Delap one coming out soon.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's the future,
Live,
this guy.
TCP Live, data pods, youth pods,
everything. And you support the show, and it helps it grow. And you get access to the Discord.
And you can listen to some shocking opinions from me.
Rohan, you have the best opinions on the platform. That's what I'd say. Yeah, Odegaard. People have heard my opinion a million times. I don't know if they need to hear it again, but I have heard rumors, and this is a rumor that there's injections and he's playing through pain, various things. To be honest, I'll put it this way: I don't know that for a fact, but what I'd say is this: if he is, leak it.
Yeah.
Leak it.
There's no harm in leaking that as well,
isn't it? At this point in the season, tell David Ornstein. Odegaard is playing through. I'm telling you, the response to him is not just, and they should have done it before the game at home. It's not about social media. Who cares what social media thinks? It's about the guys in the stadium. If they can give him a bit of love and be like, okay, like in the same way like Ben White, if we knew Kevin, sorry, yes they do. They get the same stuff. If people knew that he was playing through pain, he's waiting for a surgery, then fair enough. Then and it explains a lot of stuff. So if that is true, I don't know why they're not leaking it. And maybe it's like, oh, they don't want to put a target on his back for opposition, maybe. But at this point in the season, now, like when the Premier League doesn't really matter, and we've got some Champions League games to win, yeah.
I think that game also screamed for Ethan Wanieri to come on earlier, personally. Like,
yeah, and Ben White.
Yeah, and Ben White. Carriers, as you allude to. Look at some of the chances that we created. It was through carries and evading pressure that way. That's what Ethan can do. That's what Miles does. That's what Rice does when you create the space for him.
Right. As a Leicester fan, thoughts on El Hanous? Thank you, everyone, for being here on TCP Live. We love you so much. Get your questions and comments in. The last half hour, we're going to be coming to as many of your comments, as many of your thoughts as we possibly can. Thoughts on the links to El Hanous, Rohan?
Not watched loads, but I have to say, he reminds me stylistically a little bit of Kevin De Bruyne.
Well, if you haven't watched loads, you know what to say.
Elite ball striking.
Ironically, he has really good ball striking off both feet. That is genuinely true.
Now, again, I'm not saying he's Kevin De Bruyne. So what I'm saying is, but he genuinely stylistically does remind me a little bit of Kevin De Bruyne in terms of his ability on the turn, his carries, his final ball. He looks like someone who's going to explode in the right environment. Genuinely, like he stands out. I mean, anyone can stand out in that Leicester team, to be fair, but he does.
Pony.
Yeah, they are seriously. All right. Should we? Okay, right. Should we rank? Right. Forget about the table. Should we rank Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester? Right. I want to put Russell Martin, Southampton out there. I think they're the best, and I know they're bottom, but
but for stuff you like, yes.
I actually
for stuff you like in a team. I don't think Ipswich.
Actually,
you've got to remember Ipswich were in League One 2 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of their players are like they're just not at the level, and that's I actually think they've done all right because they haven't been embarrassed.
Yeah, they haven't. They've always given teams a game as well. They tend to, So Leicester are the worst. I think Leicester are genuinely so bad.
We'll do a scouted on Hanous at some point if the links go up. Nash Lahan. Nash, you sound like you're from America, mate. You must be from America.
Hopefully.
If you're not, let us know where you're from. Nash Lahan says, would you have Arsenal win the UEFA Champions League guaranteed, but Spurs win the UEFA Europa League every day of my life? I don't care about Spurs. This whole thing, they're 17th. They're not our rivals. They're not our rivals. They just are near us.
Imagine Spurs have just won the Europa League. Yeah, they've finally broken their trophy drought. And then Arsenal's there, Champions League. They've got their parade with about 2 people, while we've got the entire London.
We should book it for the same day in North London.
Yeah. We should actually look for if this. Hopefully, Spurs manage to book this festival. We're going to do it at the same time, same day.
They'll get a little field, and we'll get the whole of London. Yeah, literally, mate. I can't say. Yeah, Nash. Yeah, buddy. Awesome. Nash Lahan from Virginia.
Wait, how funny was that Erdogan meme I sent you on Instagram?
Yeah. No, we're not biased. We're not biased that it is funny. It was funny. We're not biased here, though. We're not biased here. We give him a fair shout. We should rent out Spurs Stadium for the trophy celebration. I mean, that would be funny if someone could do that.
That stadium is pretty sick, isn't it? Not gonna lie.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Tejas says, "Dream way, the second leg plays out."
Oh god, but mine are very weird. Where it's like, okay, PSG scoring with 5 goals, we make a comeback.
Yeah, I'll be sick.
That's the dream way, isn't it?
Was that weird? That's a good way.
That's just not realistic, is it?
I would love, yeah. Well, yeah, 5-0. Maybe they score 2, and then we come back and win 5-2. That would be nice. I would love an Odegaard goal and an unbelievable performance. Deck goal and performance. Miles goal.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
Bukayo goal.
Yeah,
and Martinelli.
Do you know what? If it is someone to get the winner, I'd want it to be Martin Odegaard.
I love that.
Yeah. If you could pick a player, it'd be him, and then Saka get the winner in the final. Yeah. Solid.
Right. Saka or Yamal?
Here's Yamal. Yes. I remember when we did. We used to the different knock live, right? And this was 2 years ago. And I mentioned about Yamal. You mentioned about Yamal when he was 15. That's the best talent.
Why look at 15-year-olds?
Yeah. Right. So if you rank
You and George.
Salah, Saka, and Yamal are the top 3, hands down.
Yeah, 100%. I do think Saka has the most to his game. I think Saka for me is the best footballer out of all 3 of them. But does that make him the best goal scorer player in different things?
Best entertainer is Yamal.
Oh, yeah, entertainment-wise, it's Yamal. Yeah. The most efficient in a goal-scoring sense, Salah, but the most efficient in his actions, I think Saka. Yeah. I think even the numbers back that up in terms of like carries and stuff. Like he's in terms of like value added per action, I think Saka is.
Well, Saka doesn't necessarily have the same level of explosiveness to Yamal and Salah, right? His IQ is off the charts. Yep. Saka, what he does with the ball, how he maneuvers it, and I saw a really good. I think it was that Harry Brook coach. What he said was about Yamal was like Yamal is so good at taking the touch when he receives it at the very last second, where he can then stand his man up and he can go both ways. Saka is elite at that as well.
I love Harry Brooks because he comes at football from like, obviously we come at from a fan perspective or a kind of a structural perspective or whatever. I say this all the time, and I say it partly because of him. One of the big things that explains football that I don't think we talk about enough is just the technical quality of someone's ball striking or technical quality of someone's, like how someone receives a football, those sorts of things. We'll spend all day talking about tactics or whatever it might be, but that it could be explained by the fact that he didn't stand on his right leg. And that's why I love like coaches who can, like, as in individual coaches who can be like, oh no, if he hits the ball through his laces rather than his stud, whatever it is, like that stuff, I think is, I don't think we cover enough on the cannon. Maybe we should get him on.
Yeah, maybe we should. Harry. But also, it's kind of like, when Mikel was alluding to how, the body shape of a winger in terms of when they receive the ball, it's kind of like not back to goal. It's exactly what he was saying in that post as well. And why you see Saka, you see Martinelli, they allow the ball to roll, they take it on their weaker foot, and then they go on their man. And it's those small details that, they don't get spoken about enough.
Cesar Magana Linares. If I'm anywhere close, Cesar, let me know. Are Arsenal on the leading edge of any tactical revolution in the sport? Anything that casuals think, wow, that's unique and great for the sport? What do you think, Rohanicals?
Anything? I don't think I know, actually. No.
Any tactical revolution in the sport? I don't. Okay.
I think the big one.
Because you go. I've got one.
No, I think the big one wasn't Arsenal, but I do think De Zerbi has had a massive say in terms of how a lot of teams build up now. And I think Pep alluded to how they learned a lot from him. We do things that are different for sure, but a revolution that is now homogenous amongst all of the teams, I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it a bit more.
I do think, just going back to what we were just saying just now, I do think Arteta is incredibly underrated in terms of a technical individual coach. I know this is so stupid, but obviously I've had football coaching. I've done a bit of football coaching, very, very amateur stuff, but done a little bit of football coaching and just like kids or whatever. And the stuff he was saying in this YouTube video, it was with like Chris MD and Theo Baker, whatever. But even just little bits he gives, you're like, oh yeah. Like, just like, there was this point about like shooting high with the goalkeeper, like just little things. I'd love to know, okay, Mikel, for a striker, when he's back to goal, what should he be doing? I think Mikel has got so much information that way of like, you need to put your hand here. If you watch how he improves players, you look at, and a Kai Havertz or a Mikel Merino or whatever, like the fact that Mikel Merino has adapted to the centre forward position so quickly, I don't think he's a mistake. Like, I think he understands how to make yourself better at football really well. I think that's maybe one thing he doesn't always get credit for.
To jump in there as well, it's kind of like, do you remember the goal Son scored against us at the Emirates this season, where he alluded to how, because of the body shape, I think it was Partey or Saliba, because of how they shaped up to kind of jump out. It was like, I knew it was going to be danger there. I knew it.
He was like, that I knew they were going to score because of the body shape.
Because of the body. It's crazy. Like, obviously, it doesn't always pan out like that, but like the law of averages in his head. This is why, Mikel, and I've said this before on the podcast, he's very analytically driven in terms of how he analyzes the game immediately after. Where I always go back to that Everton game where we drew 0-0, and from a numbers point of view, we did a lot of things right there in terms of final third entries, in terms of situations in the box, in terms of the XG created, which was more than one. He's saying we did more than enough to win the game. But then my argument to that is like, well, given how Everton are approaching this game, the mindset that Sean Dyche has in this game, where they're going to concede control, they're going to be happy defending deeper, over 90 minutes for us to only create that much XG is where the luck and the fine margins, we deserve that because you didn't do enough. So it's a different mindset there. And that's where I think he's very interesting. And the other example, obviously, is as you alluded to, striking the roof of the goal where you see with Saka goals against Leeds, against Everton, where on his right foot he slaps it top corner because the keeper. That's where it's your best location. Yeah.
So those little things I think Mikel is really great at. Kevin Ryan became a YouTube member. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
You look very handsome in your suit in your picture.
Yeah, he is. What a guy. Is that a quiff, actually? That's a quiff.
It's a great hairline as well, Kevin. Fantastic.
I think my hairline has gone back a bit, actually. I'm a bit stressed about it. No, I'm not revealing it, but I'm willing to share to you guys. I think it has gone back a little bit.
I've revealed my hairline a million times, and also the fact I'm sun-kissed. I think that's what we call it.
See, I'm a bit confused now. I think that's not bad, is it?
Well, my hairline? No, my hairline's fine.
Yeah.
I'm saying about being sun-kissed. My point is more that I've done it. So why can't you?
No.
Tell you what, the beard's looking thick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You growing it out?
Yeah, a little bit. My girlfriend likes me having facial hair.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
Yes. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. I'll stop being vain on the podcast. That was a good question. Where was it? Here it was from Abhay Warrior. How long until Mateta is considered a close to world-class centre forward? 2 20+ GA seasons in a row now. You're desperate. Go on.
Do you remember? I think me, you, and George, we did a pod and we're like, all right, one player you'd take from like the bottom half that would cook. I think Mateta. Right. I'm telling you, Mateta is good.
One of the biggest things I think top clubs could take more of a gamble on is late bloomers.
Yeah.
I do think because it's a big, like, is it Guirassy?
The keeper.
No, the guy.
For Dortmund.
For Dortmund.
Yeah.
So what is he? He's 29. So he joined Dortmund last season. He is absolutely cooked for 17 goals in the Bundesliga. I think he's got 13. He had 13 goals in 14 games in the Champions League. Yeah. And he's 29. And like, I think we all want to be in that sort of, 19 to 23 category. You want to sign players who get there for the long term, etc. If Arsenal signed, let's say, Nico Williams and Mateta, I don't hate that as a pairing. Okay. I really don't.
Okay. Let's go back to Tuesday before ball is kicked. We've got Mateta up front. Do you reckon we win?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's not like there's just certain things you add into this team and it does change. Like,
and it's also like someone like Isheshko comes in and he's got stuff to prove. Mateta, it's not that I'm not saying he's proven at the top level, but he believes in himself. You can see it. Like, you can see he backs himself to score from any angle or whatever. And I do think he scored goals for us. I don't think he is the perfect long-term solution or whatever. But this idea of we have to sign someone who's 22 or, I'm not sure about that play, he's 26. It's like, guys, if Mikel doesn't win the Champions League this season and doesn't win the Premier League and Champions League next season, we are seriously talking about how long this project lasts. If we sign a 34-year-old, I don't care. Just win. Like, at this point,
I just really like watching him. He's actually like he's genuinely really, really good. Really, really good. His hold up play, how he holds this. Do you remember the game against? Forget about the goal that he scored against us. Do you remember the game at Crystal Palace early this season, the 5-1? I have not seen Saliba and Gabriel trouble that much against centre forward. Mateta had them both. Like, seriously. Obviously, I'm not saying, we need to sign Mateta, but.
So what you're saying is
what we're saying. Yep. I do think out of possession that there would be question marks, but forget about all that stuff. Mateta, sort of quality he's showing,
and also the chant is so good. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Mateta's in the room. Andre, is it true that Rodrigo wants to leave Real Madrid in the summer? Would you? Oh, if it's true, I can't read. would you want him at Arsenal? This is another thing. I was on Clang. I was on Sky, and I said about Camavinga, and I got a bit of pushback. I was like, look, if there's a player at like Barca or Real Madrid or whatever who is out of favour, that's exactly to me the sort of player that we should be looking at. And if Rodrigo's available, go get Rodrigo. Like,
he'd be fantastic.
Get rid of all your summer plans. This is an incredible player.
He fits the system like a glove in terms of the. I mean, Jude Bellingham mentioned it. Like, he's like, he's like, technically he's one of the most gifted in the squad. The intensity, the work rate that he offers. These are things that are a match made in heaven to what we need. And the versatility, the quality he'd give on both flanks as a false nine. Mate, he'd be such a good signing. Like, so good.
Yeah.
And how old is he? He's like 23
or something.
Or something.
Ahmad, even if we sign Ronaldo to win the Champions League or Premier League, I don't care. Maybe not Ronaldo. But I do, like, I will say this. Honestly, I age, in terms of that star forward, for me, is so far down the pecking order.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that necessarily for, it may be the right thing to do to get Nico Williams and Sesko, who are obviously pre-peak, but it should not be considered. If someone says to me, oh, we shouldn't get Watkins, he's nearly 30, I don't care. If he's the right person, age should not matter for this project right now.
And also, Watkins was a late bloomer as well, and someone's got so much time left still. So.
I think you're a late bloomer, Rohan.
In what way?
Just anyway.
In any way. We're Gen Z, aren't we? We're Gen Z.
I'm just Gen Z, yeah.
Yeah, just Gen Z.
I think I'm a bit of a late bloomer. Yeah.
I have to say, I will tell you one thing, right? I was a late bloomer in terms of maths. So going back to school, right? See, the teachers never backed me. They said I should be doing the foundation paper. They said I should be doing the foundation paper. That is a disgrace. Thinking I can't write out 1,000 in words. Like, come on, I can cap that a C. It's like, no, put me on that. Put me
you
on
couldn't
the
write. What do you mean write out 1,000
words?
1,000
in figures or whatever. Doesn't matter. But
what?
Yeah. So there's like questions where you like write 1,000 in figures or in numbers or in words.
1000.
Yeah. Have you not seen those types of questions on a foundation paper?
That's a question. For how old were you?
Yeah. Honestly, no, but this is like GCSE. Go on. All right. After this, you've got some homework. Go and look at an OCR or AQA paper. These are some of the questions that you're asked. You're capped at a C, right? They were saying I should be doing that. I was like, no, put me on that higher tier paper. I got an A. Then I did maths in A level. I got an A star. So all those teachers who doubted me on maths, you were foolish. I'll tell you, they were foolish. Sorry.
I wanna try and find a paper now. That's a paper. That's a question.
Go on, let's go for a math. Let's go for a foundation.
Right, let's do a foundation one from November 2023. This is horrific.
I'm telling you,
I'm going to be so bad. I'm going to be so bad at this. All right, so this is a AQA GCSE Maths Foundation tier non-calculator on Wednesday the 8th of November. This is giving me panic stations.
Go on, do
right. So that one is we've got to do bod maths, right?
Yeah.
So hang on, what is it? I don't know what bod is, but multiply, add, subtract. So add first. So 3.44
no,
plus
brackets. So bid mass. So brackets, indices.
That's it. Divide first.
Yeah.
But then it's multiply, add, subtract. So adds first. So you've got to add them two together. So that's 5.52.
Yep, minus 1.3.
Minus 1.3. So 5.52 would be 4. Hang on.
4.22.
4.22.
Yeah. What about the first one?
Working. 2 cubed. Is that 2 times 2 times 2?
Yep.
2 times 2 is 4.
4 times 2 is 8.
4 times 2 is 8.
Yeah. Next one. Oh, I'll tell you what. We're loving this. You got to measure that. We ain't got a ruler.
Oh, we've got a ruler. Okay.
Yeah, we've got to get our ruler out.
Here is a number line. Which number is at A? What, 1.25, 1.5, 1.752? Yeah. 1.25. I'm sorry. If you can't do... This is what they wanted you to do.
They wanted me to do this.
When you're at peak maths as well. This is the thing. You got to remember, you're at peak maths at this point in your career.
But I have to say, I wasn't doing very well in some of the, like those small assessments that you have like throughout the year. I wasn't doing very well, so my brain wasn't developed then. But then once I got towards the end of GCSE, it really hit it. And then A-level maths, walk in the park for me. Physics, I was struggling with, but maths, mate, I was walking the park.
B would be, hang on, so that would be 3,800, 3,600, 3,400, right?
Correct.
Or minus 3,400.
Yeah, minus 3,400.
Mate, so they were trying to get you on that?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Do you know what we should do? We should get people to send in like stuff from their jobs, and we should try and like answer the questions.
Answer the questions.
We had a super chat. A theory I have, says Nabier, is that Arteta influenced Pep to go with more physical profiles in the team and then stole Yova from him. I think I buy that.
Right.
I think he said that.
I know. I do. Well, what happened was, so you know how obviously in the 22-23 season, the big moment against Liverpool was when
22-23.
But the big moment in that game was when Tomiyasu moved to left back. And do you remember how every single time Mikel in that interview earlier on a couple of years ago is like, you press them really well, but then Virgil van Dijk can hit that diagonal and you're out.
Yes,
right? And we wanted to stop that, where every time we was playing that diagonal, we had the height there to stop it, and Tomiyasu was able to get there all the time. But also Tomiyasu as a defender, we know what he was capable of at left back. And Pep, I remember it was the 22-23 game against us at the Emirates that you and I both went to, as you mentioned earlier on. He changed it at halftime. He brought on a Kanji, and he recognised the fact that against out-and-out wingers, you need top-quality, reliable defenders. And then in his final interview, where they won the league, I think it was Mika Richards asking, what was the change? Like, I realised in the Champions League that you just need like out defenders. So and Mikel, I think, was the one who kind of like
he name checked Saka and Martinelli 100%. Yeah. So I think in terms of defenders, definitely. Yeah. And I think he's probably right. I think he said they got the transfer window last summer wrong. That's why they went and signed Nico Gonzalez. So yeah, I
see. Everyone learns. Everyone makes mistakes.
We all make mistakes, don't we? Even Pep Guardiola. 100 men or a gorilla.
So I was away, obviously, during this time. Was this like something that... How did it start?
A little meme. Don't know. Just goes around, doesn't it?
Gorilla is powerful, though.
Yeah, but 100 men would coordinate.
Do they not have... Okay, they had nothing else with them, right? They just got their bare hands.
Yeah, I guess so, because the gorillas hasn't got like a machete. That's not fair. You know what I mean? But they can coordinate. I think basically you'd need to encircle the gorilla so it couldn't run or whatever. Because if it was like 100 men versus a gorilla in a city and you're all apart, now you're done.
100 is a lot, to be fair, isn't it? Like,
get it in a field, encroach it, and then you just all rush it, and you've got to do it at the same time.
What would you do? Cheeky little... No, we're not doing this animal cruelty, but I don't know. A gorilla is pretty powerful. We've just got our bare hands.
Just kept doing that, you'd be done.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think I'll tell you what, I might fancy the gorilla here. It's got to be like a proper big gorilla as well, proper built.
If it's like a big, but how tall are gorillas?
And it's had its food. It's ready to fight. Like,
how tall is a gorilla? Oh, it's only 1.4 meters.
I think a gorilla.
That's about how tall you are. Between 4'7" and 5'11". That's about you, isn't it?
Ah, you're so funny. But I think a gorilla would cook. Actually, I do. Imagine
they can. Oh no, they can be 6'5" if they're stood up.
Yeah. Oh god. Nah, gorilla. I have seen gorillas in the zoo. I've seen them. They're massive and they're proper, well built.
Yeah.
Come on, look at that. We've got nothing. We've got no weapons.
Yeah, but like, obviously it's scary. No one's saying it. Look at this guy. Look at this dog.
Right. Okay. Here's a different scenario, yeah? Right, so the gorilla's starting point's here. The 100 humans are there.
Yeah.
Gorilla wins. You can't get in position quick enough. You can't get in position. If you're already surrounding it, I could probably hear that.
But hang on. If you think about it, right? So you've got 1 sec. I'm just gonna bring this up just for a second. If you've got, how do I get rid of this?
Tell you what, I think we're underestimating what a gorilla can do.
Yeah, no, but right. Just think about this for a second. If you had the gorilla in the middle of a football pitch, you've got 100 men surrounding it. I'm not sure I can even put 100 counters on it. Just think how many men that is. That's 7 already.
Right. How heavy is a gorilla? Let's have a look.
Even that, I'm not sure I'd fancy the gorilla. Times 10.
I'll have a look at how heavy a gorilla is.
Like, fair enough. It would probably kill maybe 5, 6, 7 men. But think
5,
of this.
6. It's killing most of them.
No, bro. Think of this times 5. That's already 20 men. If they all rushed in at the same time, if they just basically stood around the center circle, and they all rush in at the same time, 100%.
It's like they weigh like 150 kilos minimum.
But bro, look how many people I haven't even got. That's a fifth of the men that you'd have. Think about it. That's so many. So that's about a third of the amount of people. And I would say that could kill 2 or 3 gorillas.
No way.
I'd back that against 3 gorillas.
No.
Actually, maybe not 3. 2. Two gorillas. I would back this. 100.
Wait, Yash Singh as well. Yeah, their muscle density is off the charts. Their arm strength.
No, I get it, but just overwhelm, full force.
Oh mate, I'll tell you.
Right,
I think you're underestimating how easy, how like, you know, a group of people.
100.
Yeah, but they not. One of these
of 6 foot men, like the gorillas, what, like 6 foot? It's not like it's like 20 foot and it could just kick them.
Oh mate, they're huge though. They're like massive.
No, they're big. No, I'm not saying they're not big, but I'm saying like
power of them as well. The power.
Right, let me put a poll in the chat because I can't believe 100.
We need to get David Attenborough on here. Or Steve Backshall. Remember Steve Backshall back in the day?
Oh, mate, he was goated. He was goated back in the day.
Yeah.
Right, let's say this. It's 100 average men. So, like, 6 foot-ish. Well, that's not obviously not average for you, but...
You're not 6 foot.
Yeah, mate. Right, I've put the poll in. 100 average men versus a gorilla. So let us know what you're putting in the poll. It's the gorillas edging it at the moment. 48% saying 100 average men. 50%. Oh, it's very tight.
Maybe if you had like 100 Eddie Halls, then yeah, probably. But
bro, 100 just normal dudes charging. I don't think. I think maybe you think I'm underestimating the gorilla. I think you're underestimating how many 100 is.
Mankind.
100. I'm not talking 50 or 10.
Right. Well, all right. 100. Let's say 100 of yourself.
That's look on the screen. That's a third of the amount of people that it would be.
Oh, it's tight.
The poll is.
But okay. Let's put it. If there's 100 of yourself, do you back it?
100 me's against the gorilla. Yeah, no shot. No, we'd all run away.
So I don't think you can pick and choose like the strongest men. Like...
It's genuinely exactly 50-50 right now. That's mad. It's gone 51% for the men on 65 votes.
Like 100 Eddie Halls. It's going to get through a few, but
people are telling me the average height for a man is 5'8". Don't buy that. I do not buy that.
Self-conscious, Alexander.
What is going on in the Europa League? People keep talking about that.
Oh my God. Man United are winning 3-0.
Oh.
Spurs are winning 2-0.
That's annoying. That's very annoying. Why are they doing that? Right, we'll end the poll there with 54% saying... No, 53% out of 76 votes said average men, 100 average men. And 46% said gorilla. So
why did you stop it at that percentage, Alexander?
I stopped it there because it means I win. Should we do one more football question?
Go on. It's no apprentice.
One more, because he's not running away for apprentice tonight. Let's do one more. Pure delusion, says Joshua Matthias. Come on, give us a good football question. Give us a very spicy football question. I want one. George Cole says the gorilla can't track back.
It is probably going to be quite stiff turning.
Where would you play a gorilla if it was in a starting 11? Probably in the middle?
Up top. Game up there.
As a target man.
Yeah. No one's fending him off. Imagine every time we're getting pressed, just lump it to him. You saw it.
Here we go. Would you sell Saka for Yamal? Would you swap Saka for Yamal? Actually, another person's asked that. Tejas, would you take Saka for a Yamal trade?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought you said you wouldn't get rid of Saka even for a Premier League, mate.
I did retract my comment. I did push back. Yeah.
I don't know. Because that's not a guaranteed trophy. That's just a very, very good player.
The things he does.
Yamal probably certainly will be and arguably is the better player. But Saka, man, I love him.
Stop being a weirdo and pick.
I don't think I'd do it.
Fair enough. I don't think it's like oh my god, that's outrageous. So
no, it is. You're a disgrace.
Disgrace. I hate Arsenal.
You hate Arsenal. Yeah, it's disgusting. Thank you all for being here on another excellent TCP live. It's truly spectacular stuff. I would say the best podcast of all time. What do you think?
I love it. Absolutely love it. It's my highlight of my Thursday.
Didn't say it was week, did he? He said it was Thursday. Imagine he said, it's a highlight of my Thursday evening.
What's your favourite podcast to do?
It's my favourite podcast to do.
Be honest.
This is up there, to be fair. Shall I rank them?
Go on.
What's my favourite podcast to do?
Be completely honest as well. I'm not a softie.
No, I enjoy this because it's a good mix of a bants. But
what about the chat? What's the chat's favourite podcast?
Actually, yeah, of the cat here, yeah. You've got
one.
Main Pod, Scouted, Rewatch, Youth Pods, Data Pods, TCP Live. I think that's all 6. Oh, and Instant Reactions.
Yeah.
Those are the 7. Which is your favourite? Kevin says Thursday evening, hands down. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
Joe's favourite is Patreon.
Everything.
Just the whole Patreon.
The whole shebang. Main Pod.
We've got Instant Reaction, TCP Live, Scouted.
Yep.
Main Pod. This is the thing. There's something for everyone. There is something for everyone. Sam says this is my fave. Thanks, Sam. Instant Reaction, TCP Live.
I hate watching
and it isn't close.
Oh.
Prefer not to speak. Yeah. The main
Prefer not to speak.
The Main Pod is good.
I do really like the Main Pod because it's free and
yeah. But like again, I feel this is why I think we have a good blend because like the Scouteds are probably less like fun, but they're way more educational. Do you know what I mean? For me, certainly. Instant Reactions are good for like vibes, even though you hate them and you won't do them for no reason. Main Pods are just good all rounders. TCP Live's funny. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And the Youth Pods as well. Like the thing with the Youth Pods and the Data Pods is they're for probably quite a specific audience. But the people who do like them really like them, and they're like, there's no one else. I don't think there's anyone else who does a Youth Pod certainly in the same way that we do it. So yeah.
And this one, anything with Alex.
Ziander, you're very kind. Thank you. Right, let's do it. Thanks, Rohan.
Thank you, sir. No more curfews at 9.
No more curfews. Prediction. Are we going to be sat here next week? What are we going to do if we don't win? We're out of every competition. Premier League's over. Everything. What are we going to do?
I certainly wouldn't go on Twitter. That's for sure.
Oh my god!
I'll tell you what. Yeah.
If we go there and we get beat 2-0 and we're pants, I don't think I will struggle to make content. I really will.
It hits you, doesn't it? Trust me, it does hit you. You don't want to do it. I don't.
Oh.
I'll be honest. I don't like doing pods when we don't play well.
Please win. Please win.
I think we'll win, but I wouldn't say otherwise. To be fair, but I think Declan Rice hire is a game changer. I really do. I think the height.
What should we do if we don't win? I don't want to talk about football.
Yeah, because we're the Thursday and it's on the Wednesday.
And also, like, I'm not even joking. Like, because there's no point doing any like, let's review the season, because it's like it's still going.
And if we do lose, it would be because Arsenal's social media team were posting videos incessantly. That's why we lost. That's exactly it, isn't it?
Maths
isn't
test.
it?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Absolutely, that's it. Just the social media team. Mikel saying bring your shin pads and stuff that has somehow hurt people. Flipping weirdos.
Have you got any more rants for us?
Like state of it. God, just go outside, innit? God. Sorry, but yeah.
Deep dive into Gorilla versus 100 people with Steve Backshaw as a guest.
Steve Backshaw's a legend. No slander on Steve Backshaw will ever be tolerated in general, though. Like, he's a legend.
We could do our live story, Rohan. We could do our live stories on TCP Live.
Good. I won't be telling certain things for sure.
Thank you.
And I know you as well won't be saying certain things.
Why? I'm an open book. There's genuinely nothing I wouldn't say on the podcast.
No way.
No, there's a few things. Like,
Yeah.
not like loads.
Yeah, not loads, but yeah, I don't mind sharing my story.
Odds on we just do shrooms and talk about consciousness or something.
Shrooms. You go in Amsterdam?
More than you believe. More than you believe. Thanks everyone. Love you all. Oh, hairline reveal. That's what we could do.
It's just not as good as yours, Kevin.
Yeah, to be fair, Kevin, your hairline is great. It's better than both of ours.
Yeah, Kevin's is good. Yeah, very good.
Genuinely, what we should do is get like, I don't know, Turkish or someone on. That's what we should do.
Just don't think I'd. Whatever. Yeah.
FIFA. We should play a game of FIFA.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
That would be sick. We should replay the Champions League
I've not played
final
for ages though. I'm not playing.
and win.
Have you played? I used to be pretty decent as well.
I was right back in the day, but I'm probably terrible now.
Yeah. Wonder how much it's changed. Not got it like for 4 years.
Every time I do it, or a Football Manager.
I've never played Football Manager.
We
never.
should do Football Manager. Okay,
I've
that's
never
what we'll
played
do. Genuinely, that's what we'll do. We'll
I've
play
never done
Football Manager.
I've never played it. Have you?
Yeah.
I've never played it.
It's
Never
good. You've never touched it. Never touched it. Yeah, I don't go on that stuff. Thank you. I've said a million times. Thank you for being here. Thanks so much for watching. Rohan, love you loads. Thanks for coming back to us.
Love you. Main pod soon.
Thank you all. But we won't have to do that because we're going to win. We're going to win. So I'll see you all next week when we are post a Paris Saint-Germain win in the Parc des Princes. We'll see you all then because that's going to happen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. And thanks for keeping it Arsenal.
Tens of thousands of football fans came to Highbury, electrifying.